Hi guys, and welcome to yet another video here on the YouTube channel Spielfelling Fellowship. My name is Andreas Norwegian Viking, and today we take a look at the Battle Company's rule set scenario of Hold Ground. So this is the third video in the Battle Company's scenario rules, and where we take an in-depth look at the scenario, give a couple of tips and hints as to when to choose it because of the new rules. So before we talk about that, we have a small bit of backstory to the scenario. During the course of battle, sometimes it's necessary to grab and hold an area of particularly strategic interest. Due to the chaotic nature of conflict, a company can be separated and must reassemble to complete their mission. Can they pull together and prevent the enemy from taking control before time runs out? So, bear this in mind when thinking about the scenario, because there is a new way to basically choose scenarios in the new Battle Company's rule set. Before, you either had a TO or somebody else choosing which scenario you wanted to play. That could, particularly if the TO played himself, be a bit tough, because it is hard to be objective in these kind of games. So the way it works now is that the player with the lowest warband rating chooses which scenario to play, and that can be a key factor when pulling these scenarios out, because you will sometimes need a scenario to defeat a high number foe. You will sometimes have a interest to defeat a low number foe, or be on even ground. If you have more might than your enemy, you might choose a scenario which benefits you in that regards, stuff like that. So there are a ton of options, and you should know all your scenarios before competing, at least if you're trying to do well in a Battle Company campaign. Of course, Battle Company is fun anyway, but it gives it kind of an edge if you know your stuff, basically. So the Hold Ground scenario is played on a 4x4 foot battlefield with terrain placed as side for an interesting and visually pleasing layout. Once the battlefield is set up, place an objective in the center of the table and agree with your opponent as to which table represents north for deployment purposes. Then both players must divide their battle companies as evenly as possible into groups, each led by one hero. So in a starting warband, that is 3 groups. These groups begin the game in reserve and will arrive as the battle progresses. So the objective. Once one company has been broken, the game might suddenly end. At the end of each turn after this condition is met, roll a d6. On a 1 to 2, the game ends, otherwise the battle continues for another turn. At the end of the game, the Battle Company that has scored most victory points wins. If both companies have the same amount of victory points, the game is a draw. Victory points score are as follows: 1 for each model within 6 inches of the objective. You score 1 point for wounding an enemy hero. Wounds prevented by fate do not count. If you kill the hero, you gain 3 victory points instead. And you score 1 victory point if the enemy force is broken. If the enemy force is broken but yours is not, you gain 3 victory points instead. Now, the thing you might think is lacking is how does the groups arrive. So there is a special rule called the Maelstrom of Battle. At the end of your move phase, roll a d6 for each hero not on the battlefield and consult the chart below. The hero can use might to effect the roll. Models cannot charge the turn they arrive, but otherwise act normally. Roll for each hero separately, deploy the hero and his warriors, then roll for the next group. Models that have not yet arrived on the battlefield count as present for the purposes of determining if your force is broken. So that means you can't be broken in the first turn. Sorry. So on a score of 1, your group does not arrive. Sad face. Next one is a 2. Your opponent chooses a point on either the north or south board edge at least 6 inches from the corner. All models in the group move onto the battlefield from this point. Next one, your opponent chooses a point on either east or west board edge at least 6 inches from the corner. All models in the group move into the battlefield from this point. On a 4, it gets interesting for the controlling player. You choose a point on either north or south board edge at least 6 inches from the corner. All models in the group move onto the battlefield from this point. Same with number 5. Choose a point on either east or west in this case, and deploy at least 6 inches from the corner, and all models move onto the battlefield from this point. And on the 6, you choose a point on any board edge at least 6 inches from the corner, and you move on from there. So it gives you quite a lot of opportunities. There is a bit of a tactic difficulty, as it is random where you arrive, but then again, a good player can use might to basically adjust, and if you have bad rolls, that can mean the end for you as well. But we have seen games where this kind of scenario, basically whole ground in SPG, has been pulled out from the jaws of defeat, basically, by quickly moving away from the enemy. You will find yourself in the corner with enemies on all sides. That's bound to happen in these kinds of scenarios. So yeah, it is a cool way to play it. So yeah, that's it for this today's video in the scenario series. Join us tomorrow as we go into Lords of Battle for Battle Companies. As always, please comment, like, share and subscribe, and support your Hobbit hobby.